Pause at the edge of the square, letting your eyes adjust to the overwhelming presence of Gaudí's masterpiece rising before you. The nativity facade catches the light differently now than it did this morning, where the early sun revealed every delicate carving in sharp relief. The higher afternoon light softens the stone, making the intricate figures seem to emerge and recede like figures in a dream. The honey-colored limestone appears almost luminous, as if lit from within, and you can see why Gaudí chose this particular stone that changes character with the light. Your fingers trail along the metal railing that separates the square from the construction zone, still warm from hours of sun exposure. The metal has that particular heat that speaks of summer afternoons in Mediterranean cities, not quite burning, but insistent enough that you shift your grip. Beyond the barrier, the eternal dance of construction continues, cranes moving with deliberate precision against the deep blue sky. There's something mesmerizing about watching this ancient modern ballet, knowing that every piece being lifted into place follows plans drawn more than a century ago. The sound of children's laughter draws your attention to a group playing near the reflecting pool. Their voices echo off the stone facades surrounding the square, creating a natural amphitheater effect that Gaudí surely intended. You watch as a little girl in a bright yellow dress runs her hand through the fountain's spray, squealing with delight as the cool water hits her sun-warmed skin. Her parents sit on the stone benches nearby, fanning themselves with tourist brochures, their faces showing that particular expression of vacation contentment mixed with the slight overwhelm that comes with experiencing something truly magnificent. The queue for entry moves steadily, a river of people from every corner of the world, united in their pilgrimage to see what one man's vision could create. You notice how the line naturally forms its own rhythm, periods of movement followed by pauses as groups ahead stop to take photos or simply stand in wonder. A couple from what sounds like Australia discusses the building techniques they've read about, their voices carrying that excited energy of travelers discovering something that exceeds their expectations. You step closer to the Passion facade, the more austere of the two completed sides. Here, the afternoon light creates dramatic shadows in the angular carvings, emphasizing the stark geometry of Christ's suffering. The contrast with the flowing, organic forms of the nativity facade couldn't be more pronounced. It's as if you're seeing two different architects' interpretations of the same story. Your hand finds the rough texture of the stone base, still cool despite the heat, and you feel the slight vibration that runs through the building from the ongoing construction above. A street musician has set up near the Carrer de Mallorca entrance, his guitar case open to collect coins from passers-by. His melody weaves through the ambient sounds of the square, something Spanish and melancholy that seems to complement the soaring lines of the facade. You drop €1 into his case, and he nods his thanks without breaking his rhythm, his fingers dancing across the strings with the practiced ease of someone who has played these streets for years. The smell of churros drifts from a nearby cart, mixing sugar and oil with the warm stone scent that seems to emanate from every surface here. Your stomach reminds you that lunch was hours ago, but something about this place makes ordinary hunger feel less urgent. There's a timelessness here that makes the practical concerns of the day seem to fade into the background. You're not just looking at a building. You're witnessing the physical manifestation of a dream that has been growing, stone by stone, for more than a century. The transition from the bright square to the interior of the basilica creates a moment of sensory adjustment that feels almost sacred. The temperature drops noticeably as you cross the threshold, the thick stone walls providing blessed relief from the afternoon heat. But it's the light that stops you in your tracks. Not the absence of it, but its transformation. The harsh summer sun outside becomes something entirely different here, filtered through stained glass into pools of color that seem to breathe with life. Your eyes are drawn upward, following the forest of columns that branch and spread like stone trees reaching toward heaven. The afternoon sun streaming through the western windows, the Passion facade side, floods the nave with warm oranges, deep reds, and golden yellows. It's as if you've stepped inside a sunset, the light so saturated and alive that it seems to pulse with each cloud that passes overhead. You understand now why the research notes emphasize timing. This isn't just architecture, it's choreographed light. The acoustics here wrap around you like a gentle embrace. Conversations become hushed, not from any imposed reverence, but from the natural response to being in a space that seems to demand a different kind of attention. The shuffle of feet on stone creates a subtle percussion, and somewhere in the distance, you can hear the faint echo of construction work. The building still growing, still becoming. Your footsteps join this quiet symphony as you move deeper into the nave. You find a spot near one of the massive columns and let your hand rest against its surface. The stone is cool and smooth, polished by countless other hands that have sought the same connection. Looking up, you follow the column as it branches into the vaulted ceiling, the ribs spreading like the canopy of a forest. Gaudí's inspiration from nature isn't metaphorical here. It's literal, mathematical, a direct translation of organic forms into stone and light. A family with young children passes nearby, the parents speaking in hushed Italian, while their daughter, perhaps 6 years old, stares up at the ceiling with her mouth slightly open. Her wonder is infectious, reminding you to see this place with fresh eyes, rather than through the filter of everything you've read or heard. She reaches up as if she could touch the colored light that falls across her face, and for a moment, you see the space through her eyes, not as architecture or art, but as pure magic made manifest. The afternoon light continues its slow dance across the interior, and you notice how different sections of the basilica come alive at different moments. As a cloud passes over the sun, the western light dims, and the eastern windows, cooler blues and greens, seem to glow more intensely. It's like watching a vast, slow kaleidoscope, each shift revealing new details, new relationships between light and stone. You move toward the apse, where the afternoon light creates a particularly dramatic effect. Here, the combination of natural light and the building's geometry creates an almost ethereal atmosphere. The air itself seems to shimmer with color, and you find yourself breathing more slowly, more deeply, as if the space is teaching you a different rhythm. An elderly man sits in one of the pews nearby, his eyes closed, and you wonder if he's praying or simply absorbing the profound peace that seems to emanate from these walls. The sound of camera shutters provides a constant, gentle background rhythm, but somehow it doesn't feel intrusive here. There's something about this space that makes even the most mundane activities, taking photos, reading guidebooks, shepherding children, feel elevated, touched by the same vision that drove Gaudí to dedicate his life to this impossible dream. The elevator ride to the towers feels like ascending through the building's very soul. The mechanical hum mixing with the gradual change in air pressure and temperature as you rise. When the doors open, you step into a different world. One of narrow stone passages, spiraling staircases, and windows that frame Barcelona like a living painting. The afternoon heat hits you again, but it's different here, caught and concentrated by the stone, creating microclimates of warmth and cool as you navigate the passages. Your hands trace the curved walls as you climb, feeling the subtle tool marks left by craftsmen who shaped these stones. The passage is narrow enough that you occasionally brush shoulders with other visitors, creating brief moments of shared adventure as you all make this pilgrimage upward. The stone beneath your feet is worn smooth by countless footsteps, and you add your own to this accumulating history. Through one of the tower windows, Barcelona spreads before you in the golden light of late afternoon. The city's grid pattern becomes clear from this height. The careful urban planning that shapes daily life for millions of people. The Mediterranean catches the light in the distance, a strip of blue that reminds you of the sea's constant presence in this coastal city. Below, the Eixample district stretches in all directions. Its distinctive octagonal blocks creating a rhythm that Gaudí himself would have appreciated. The wind at this height carries different scents. Less of the street-level mixture of food and exhaust, more of the pure Mediterranean air tinged with salt, and the green smell of the parks scattered throughout the city. Your hair moves in the breeze, and you feel the particular sensation of being high above a living city, connected to it, but removed enough to see its patterns and flows. Another window reveals the ongoing construction directly below, and from this angle, you can see the careful choreography of the work. Cranes move with purpose. Workers navigate scaffolding with the confidence of people who spend their days in the sky. And the building continues its slow growth toward completion. There's something deeply moving about witnessing this continuation of Gaudí's vision, knowing that people are still dedicating their lives to bringing his dream into reality. The spiral staircase that leads back down is a marvel in itself. The stone steps worn into gentle curves by more than a century of use. Your hand follows the central pillar as you descend, feeling the way the stone has been polished to silk smoothness by countless other hands making this same journey. The temperature gradually cools as you descend, and the sounds of the city below grow more distinct. Traffic, voices, the general hum of urban life that forms the backdrop to this extraordinary place. At one of the lower windows, you pause to watch the square below. From this perspective, the people look like participants in some grand, slow-motion dance, their movements creating patterns across the stone plaza. Tour groups form and dissolve. Families gather for photos. Individuals find quiet moments of contemplation. You're struck by how this building continues to serve its purpose, not just as a tourist destination, but as a place that brings people together in wonder. Descending into the crypt feels like traveling backward through time, the temperature dropping with each step until you're enveloped in the cool, still air of the underground spaces. Here, the afternoon heat of Barcelona summer becomes a distant memory, replaced by the eternal coolness of stone and earth. The lighting is softer here, more intimate, designed to encourage contemplation rather than the soaring inspiration of the main basilica. Your footsteps echo differently in these lower spaces, the sound more contained, more personal. The crypt houses Gaudí's tomb, a simple resting place for a man whose vision was anything but simple. Fresh flowers lie nearby, left by visitors who understand that this isn't just a tourist site, but a place of genuine pilgrimage. The marble is cool beneath your fingertips as you pause to pay your respects to the architect whose dream still shapes the skyline above your head. The museum spaces reveal the incredible complexity behind what appears effortless in the finished basilica. Models show the mathematical precision underlying Gaudí's organic forms, the way he used weighted strings to determine the perfect curves for his arches, the intricate relationship between structure and beauty that makes this building possible. You spend long minutes studying a plaster model, trying to understand how someone could envision such complexity and then find ways to make it real in stone. Photographs document the building's progress through the decades, showing how each generation of craftsmen has added their skills to the ongoing work. There's something deeply moving about seeing the same spaces you've just walked through in various stages of completion, understanding that what feels eternal and unchanging is actually the result of countless individual decisions, countless hours of careful work. The air down here carries the scent of old stone and careful preservation, the particular smell of places where history is actively maintained. You pass display cases containing Gaudí's original drawings, their lines still sharp and confident after more than a century. Looking at these sketches, you can almost feel the energy of creation, the moment when vision becomes plan, becomes reality. A small chapel in the crypt offers a place for actual worship, reminding you that beneath all the tourism and architectural appreciation, this is still a functioning religious space. A few people sit in quiet prayer, their presence adding another layer to the building's complex identity. The afternoon light from the main basilica doesn't reach here, but somehow the space feels illuminated by a different kind of energy, the accumulated devotion of all who have found meaning in this extraordinary place. As you emerge from the museum spaces back into the main basilica, the quality of light has shifted again. The afternoon is moving toward evening, and the western windows that filled the space with warm colors earlier now glow with an even deeper intensity. The golden hour is approaching, and you can see its effects beginning to transform the interior once more. This is the magic of Gaudí's light design. The building never looks the same twice, never stops evolving with the movement of the sun. You find yourself walking more slowly now, reluctant to leave this space that has revealed so many layers throughout your visit. Other visitors seem to feel the same reluctance, their movements becoming more contemplative as the day draws toward its close. The afternoon crowd has thinned somewhat, replaced by people who, like you, seem to understand that this place rewards patience and attention. The sound of evening prayers begins to drift through the space, a reminder that this building serves its original purpose, even as it welcomes millions of visitors each year. The voices create another layer in the complex acoustics, adding human harmony to the symphony of stone and light. You pause near one of the columns, letting the sound wash over you, feeling the way it seems to resonate not just in your ears, but in your chest, your bones. Outside, the square is bathed in the golden light of late afternoon, the harsh brightness of midday softened into something more forgiving. The stone facades surrounding the plaza glow with warmth, and the fountain spray catches the light like scattered diamonds. Street musicians are setting up for the evening crowd, their instruments cases open in anticipation of the dinner hour rush. You find a bench in the square and sit for a moment, letting your eyes move once more across the impossible complexity of the nativity facade. The changing light reveals details you hadn't noticed before, the way certain carvings seem to emerge from the stone only at specific angles, the mathematical precision underlying what appears to be organic chaos. A gentle breeze carries the scent of evening cooking from nearby restaurants, mixing garlic and olive oil with the ever-present aroma of warm stone. The city around the basilica is beginning its transition from day to evening, the energy shifting from the purposeful movement of afternoon to the more relaxed rhythms of evening leisure. Cafes are setting up their outdoor tables, preparing for the long social dinners that are such an essential part of Barcelona life. The light continues to change, moment by moment, and you understand that you could sit here for hours, watching the building transform with the movement of the sun. As the shadows grow longer and the light grows more golden, you rise from the bench and take one last look at the Sagrada Familia. Tomorrow it will look different. The light will fall at different angles, reveal different details, create different moods. But this afternoon's vision, this particular dance of stone and sun and shadow, belongs to this moment, to your presence here in this place, where human vision has been made manifest in the most extraordinary way. The warm evening air carries you away from the square, but the memory of colored light and soaring stone stays with you. A reminder that some human dreams are so powerful, they continue to reshape the world long after their dreamers